What's up, people? I am back for another video. I figured I'd do this one today, but I do have I'm doing this video, but I do have another one because the other day they announced they were doing another Jason movie. I know they announced that series, but they're actually potentially gonna reboot like the whole thing. So what I might do is I'll do a video about that on its own. I'll do that one probably a little bit later. I'll be like later. If not, I'll be in the morning. But I figured I'd at least get this one out so we can kind of finish out this series. But we're doing the last of the House of a Thousand Corpses. This was a video I was supposed to do Tuesday, but shit, I got locked out. I'll just kind of keep it just simple really quick. I got locked out of the house and I just wasn't in the mood later that night. By the time I got back in, I just wasn't in the mood to do a video. I'll just be honest. So because of that, that's the reason. I was originally supposed to do this on Tuesday, but that happened and I just didn't want to do a video. I'll admit, I'll just be honest. So I'm doing it today. But Three from Hell. I didn't see this one when it came out. I remember when they announced this, and I was like, why? Because at the time, I think I was thinking Devil's Rejects ends it perfectly. Like they get shot to shit, and then you have to justify to me, how do they survive? Like they got shot to shit. I'm like, I would assume too they probably got shot in the face, in the head. I'm like, you're telling me they survived all that? So I didn't see this when it came out, and I didn't hear any word of mouth about it either. So I just waited, and I figured since we're doing this, decided to do the series, I decided to watch it for the first time. I watched it on Tuesday, but overall, I think it's weird because I don't think this is a horrible movie, but I think it's the problem is. I think the main problem is it doesn't make sense in this. They don't justify, in my opinion, keeping them alive. In the way that the film is about, like the Firefly family, the Firefly family, escaping prison, and Otis, goes to jail. He's sentenced to death, but his brother breaks him out. And we only see Captain Spaulding for a scene, which it's unfortunate. The reason is because Sid Haig died, like I think during the production of this. So R.I.P. Sid Haig. But Otis's half brother Winslow breaks him out of prison, and after that they have to try to get Baby out. So they, I'll admit, this section of the movie was actually really good. Otis and Winslow take hostage the main guy who runs the prison. So they kidnap his family. His prisoner's warden. They kidnap his family and basically order him to break them out and then break Baby out of prison. And so this section of the movie was really good. I'll admit it was interesting. I even liked the way the movie opened, where they kind of did like the Three from Hell name was dubbed because you got these crazy people becoming like fans. Like I think it was like Rob kind of doing like the Manson family, some of these people who become like fans in a weird way of these serial killers and these spree killers. So I think they were doing that. I'll admit that was cool, and I'll admit the kills are there. But it was like this section of the movie was really good, and like the scene where Otis and Winslow kidnap the family. They kill like a random clown. Like I thought that section was good. Like it felt like a continuation of Devil's Rejects. But then once Baby gets broken out and then they kill the warden and his family, they decide to flee to Mexico. The movie just takes a weird like shift. It turns into almost like a Narcos episode or like one of those like cartel movies, because Rondo's brother, Rondo is that's Danny Trejo's character from the last movie. He gets killed by Otis in prison. So Rondo's brother calls up whoever, the place where they're hiding, and like his brother is like this leader of this gang, and Yeah, so he calls the owner of that place and basically offers money if they basically if he points them out to him. And then yeah, it just turns into like that because then yeah, Otis, Baby, and Wins almost become like anti-heroes because they have to fight these guys, and that's basically the rest of the movie. It's weird. It's like it went to like a weird shift in the end. I'll admit there's no real story, and you could argue that they don't really justify a third film in general. But I think if they had just ended it with like the police, I wouldn't have ended it in Mexico either. I think they should have just ended it them hiding out somewhere, and then the police come, and you have like this big final fight. And Otis, it was such a weird decision to make them like Otis, Baby, and Winther. I almost feel like anti-heroes by this point in the film. Like they even get their revenge on Rondo's brother for attacking them in the end, and they walk off. That's how they ended. It was a weird movie. So this movie overall, it's not horrible. If you just turn your brain off and you just watch like crazy kills, I guess it's enjoyable. I think the first half's way better. And I'd almost argue just end it when they escape and then just have it in your head that they decide to flee to Mexico, but you don't actually see them in Mexico. I think you actually if you end it there, like that first hour ish, where they after they kill the warden and his family, they decide to go flee to Mexico. You can end the movie there, and it works. Then it's like a 7, but the whole movie, I have to give it like a 6 because that weird end, it just makes no sense to me. It felt like I didn't know what Rob was going for there, and it almost stopped being a horror movie. Because at least like the first half, it still felt like that horror / thriller feel of the first two. This one just then that once they go to Mexico, it's just like the shit just shifts. It's weird. I'd only say watch it if you want to just watch all 3 movies, but I wouldn't blame you if you're just like I don't even if you like don't think the movie's bad. I wouldn't blame you if you're like, nah, I don't want to watch it just because you just want to keep it to where it's just the first 2 movies, just House and Devils, and the Devil's Rejects is how the story ends. I can live with that. That's fine if you want to just accept like that they died in the end. Because I'll agree, the movie doesn't justify them living. Because no, they fucking died. If you saw like the end of Devil's Rejects and you saw what they look like afterwards, you do see them for a second before it cuts to credits. In the end of that movie, they were fucking dead, dude. It's like no fucking way. But like I said, this movie's fine. It doesn't fully justify. And I also think Otis is still great. Bill Moseley kills it as Otis. You only see Sid Haig for a scene. It's understandable because he unfortunately died during the production of this. Sherry Moon Zombie, I think, was better in the beginning, though I think there are some scenes she overacts. But at least this character, it fits her. Like she still fits the character for the most part. There are some scenes I do think she's overacting, but it's fine. Overall, like 6 out of 10. But tomorrow, before I get started on the review, I am going to be continuing on with the Bruce Lee movies. We're going to be doing Game of Death. This one has been a while. I'll admit I've only seen it like I think 2 times when I was a kid. So it has been a long fucking time, and this was unfortunately like one of his last real movies. So I can't wait to watch it again though. I mean, this is the movie that gave us probably his most like one of his most iconic looks with like the yellow kind of outfit he wears. He has the nunchucks. Yeah, the yellow and black like kind of costume or look he wears, like that you mostly see him in. That most iterations of Bruce Lee when you see him is in that. So can't wait to do that one tomorrow. So, but yeah, let's get started on Devil's Rejects. The movie opens up. We see the basically that we learn that they survived. The Firefly survived their injuries. I don't think you still can't justify them surviving that. Like, no, they are fucking dead. But anyway, we see Captain Spaulding in prison really quick. We kind of see them become almost infamous on the news. They get dubbed Three from Hell. Yeah, we see the trial, and I do like that. It has like a little bit of like that realism, and like kind of like what happened with a lot of spree killers, where they become like famous. People want them freed. There's even like a free the three kind of thing. It's like it works. It has like a realistic feel, so I like that stuff. While this is going on, oh, we see Captain Spaulding executed, which I'll admit this works because it explains why Sid Haig's not in the rest of the film. Because to be fair, when you do see him, I'll admit he looked pretty sick, like in real life, like you can tell. And I understand, like, there was a gap, because this was 2019 when this came out, and Devil's Rejects was 2005, so that's like a 14-year gap right there. But yeah, man. Yeah, he looked pretty sickly. But we see Otis get transferred to prison. While in prison, he sees Rondo, who helped him get arrested in the last movie. So he ends up getting killed. Killing Rondo with the help of Winslow. His Otis's half brother helps break him out of prison. And yeah, Otis kills Rondo for revenge. So Otis is free, but Baby's still in prison. One of the prison guards tries to have Baby killed, but Baby kills him. Even though in the shot they try to make it seem like, oh, Baby's getting beat up, but they cut to it. It's actually her fucking them up. Because there's like two girls on her. Like one of the girls is like it's a big, I'll just say it, big butch lesbian looking girl. But yeah, she kills her. And I'll admit that scene was very well done. Like the kills themselves are pretty good in the movie. And we see this prison is run by probably one of the best actors in the movie. Trying to find his name. Jeff Daniel Phillips. That's what I was trying to think of his name. But yeah, I thought he did good as the warden. He was like, I'll admit, like Rob Zombie, at least in this, I feel like this is toned down Rob Zombie. There's not weird dialogue where they're talking about like fucking dead bodies and shit. There's nothing like that in this, at least. There's not any weird dialogue like that or skull fucking and shit like that. But so Otis and Winslow decide to attack the warden's family and basically force him to help break out Baby out of prison and basically hold his family hostage. A clown shows up because it's supposed to be like a party that was supposed to happen, but a clown shows up. Otis ends up killing the clown. Pretty brutal. Like the kills are brutal. Like I won't front. Like this section of the film, it's pretty brutal and the kills make sense. It's just the second section, and then I'll talk about that more when we get to it. But so Otis orders the warden sneak Baby out of prison, or they'll murder his family, basically, including his wife. So the next morning, Dallas, I'll just call him Dallas, even though his name's Virgin. Dallas agrees. He helps break Baby out of prison. They go back to the house. And then they decide to kill them anyway and start killing the family. The Baby ends up killing one of them, like, in front of, like, an old lady. I'll admit, this scene was kind of funny. Like, Baby was chasing this girl in like, the front of the house, and she ends up stabbing her, like, over and over. Pretty well done, but you see, like, this old lady across the street, and, yeah, and she even, like, waves back, which is pretty funny. So, Otis then, kills Harper, Winslow kills his wife. Pretty brutal, like, slits her throat. Like, the kills, like, they don't hold back. Like, I'll give Rob this. Like, he does not hold back on kills. So they then, Baby, after kills, like, a random guy while she's out. they decide to flee to Mexico because they don't want to like get in trouble. So yeah, they flee to Mexico. This is where the film just it tone shift like a motherfucker. It doesn't feel like they're on the run anymore, or if it does feel like they're on the run, it's because they're not from the police. Because the police, you don't even see them again. And I get it. Maybe Rob was just like he didn't want to just do a retread of the original ending, from Devil's Rejects, or the cops come, but it would have made more sense and it would have been more in character. Because by this point in the film, they don't feel like villains anymore because they get the ire of Rondo's brother, who wants to get revenge for his brother's murder. So he rounds up his gang, which is like this gang in like wrestling masks. So they take Baby Otis and Winslow take refuge in this hotel in Mexico that's owned by this guy. Rondo calls the owner of the hotel and basically tells them, if you spot them for me and point them out, I'll pay you, I think it was like $10,000. So yeah, he agrees while basically, yeah, so Otis is having sex with two girls while Baby bonds with Sebastian. He's like a worker who works there, and I'm pretty sure it's Hornswoggle who's playing him. I could be wrong. No, it's not. It just looks like him. I thought it was, but it wasn't. But yeah, she bonds with the local guy while Winslow is having sex with another girl. And then, yeah, it stops being a horror movie. It was like I don't know what Rob was going for here, but Aquarius shows up with his gang, and Sebastian warns Baby, who now Baby just is good with arrows now. Like she just finds arrows and starts using them. While Otis gets attacked by the gang, and yeah, we get a big shootout. Otis, Winslow, and Baby eliminate most of the gang, but end up getting captured by Aquarius, who then holds them hostage. So calling out Otis confronts them. We get a final fight. So Aquarius ends up shooting Sebastian, thinking he's dead, but Sebastian actually helps break them out. We get a big shit fight between Aquarius and Otis, and then the other two. But because Otis squares off with one of the guys, Otis's men. Not Otis. Otis squares off with one of Aquarius's men. With like they have like a knife fight. Sebastian ends up freeing Baby and Winslow. They end up killing everybody. They hold Aquarius hostage. They end up throwing, because earlier in the film, or before that, Aquarius mentions, I'm going to bring coffins for the three of them. But like films do, callback, they decide, all right, we're going to they throw him in the coffin, setting him on fire, which is pretty brutal. And then they walk off. It felt weird. I don't know what Rob was going for. Why didn't you I get it, you didn't want to just do a retread of Devil's Rejects, but just have the cops show up. It would have at least kept the tone. It didn't make sense, this shift. It felt like I was watching a different movie. I'm like, am I watching like Narcos or some cartel movie now? Like, what the fuck? Why, and I get it because they wanted to tie it back to Rondo because Aquarius is his brother and he wants revenge, but it just didn't work. And I think it would have worked better if you set this up earlier in the movie, but you really didn't. You only think, Otis killed Rondo. Okay, he got revenge. But this plot, I don't think was really needed. Maybe they could have still fled in Mexico, but there should have what I think I would have, another tweak I would have did, there should have been like a detective character that maybe got hired on after the events of Devil's Rejects. Maybe someone I think Sheriff Weidel from Devil's Rejects, but maybe not as aggressive, but he just wants to capture him. and then that's who he's tracking them down throughout the whole movie. That's what it should have been. And then by the end of it, he leads a squad of cops to try to capture them. It would have kept the same tone in the movie. You could have even still said it in Mexico, and maybe fucking you have it to where this detective has like some kind of mole in Mexico or has someone out there that spots them. I think they should have did something like that. The whole weird Aquarius ending it just felt like I was watching like a different movie. And I don't really like them making Otis, Baby, and Winslow like it made them like almost anti-heroes, and it just didn't make sense considering the shit they've done. They're not worthy of being anti-heroes. They're still villains. Like it didn't kept the same tone. I think if they had just kept that tone from the first half, I would have probably given this about a 7. But it's just this weird tone shift towards the end. It just doesn't work for me. So it's not the worst movie in the world. There's still some solid kills in this movie. That's like probably the biggest plus is the violence. And Bill Moseley still kills it as Otis. He's probably like my favorite part of these movies, to be honest. I think Sherry Moon was fine as Baby in this, but I do agree there are some scenes where I do think she's overacting, and the arrows made no sense. When did she all of a sudden be good with arrows? I guess you could say she's good with blades, so I guess we can just accept she's good with arrows, I guess. But it just, I don't know. I did like Winslow as a character though. Otis's half brother. He's like almost more evil than Otis at times. Like that scene when they kidnap Harper's family and take them hostage. I thought like Otis was being the more evil one in that. I thought that was, or Winslow, which is Otis's brother. Yeah, overall, it's a fine movie. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie, I was honestly dreading worse, and this wasn't that. I don't know if I'll watch this again. I think in my head, I'm kind of cool with just Devil's Rejects ending it. And this is like a what if story. Like, what if the Firefly survived? But for me, ideally, in the main canon, they died. The way they got shot, this film doesn't fully justify them being alive, if I'm just being honest. They all got shot to shit in the end. And we got to remember the amount of cops that were at that barrier in the end of the Devil's Rejects. Like, no, there's no way they survived that. It's like, no fucking way. And like the amount of cops that probably had like shotguns and all, no, they're dead. So, but it's all right. I can't wait to do Game of Death tomorrow. I fucking love Bruce Lee, and I'm happy to finally be diving into his movies. Since we did Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee, Jet Li, sorry. But yeah, I can't wait to do that tomorrow. But yeah, Devil's Rejects, I'll give a 6. There's some good cinematography. There's some solid kills. I really like some of the performances, but I think the first half is a far better movie. And if they had just ended it, that they decide to flee to Mexico, but you can have it that if you just cut it where they flee to Mexico, but you just don't actually show what happens in Mexico, that okay, they just flee to Mexico, end of story. It could work. So, but yeah, guys. Besides that, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. But cheers one more time, and yeah. As usual, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Fuck Joe Biden. Game of Death review. Talk to you tomorrow. Sorry I'm saying this again. Peace.